A particular case of human trafficking, a very famous case from 1872 in this international port of Yokohama in Japan, in which a Peruvian ship with over 200 Chinese captives, they were called coolies at the time, were liberated by Japanese courts working with British diplomats and American legal advisors. It was truly an international effort. My take on the case is that, in fact, all of the celebration overlooked a Chinese woman who was on board and was not freed. So this girl was erased from history, and she was erased from legal accounts and journalistic accounts. So I call this girl Girl Zero, because she was never given a name. And she has been sort of my animating impulse to try to recover the stories, the reality of all of the girls who were not freed. And I feel like that is not unique to her case. There are so many women in similar positions. And that's why this migrations initiative and this lab is so important to me, because I think we are all committed to not overlooking these cases.
It's a good question to be clear about what one means when one says human trafficking. The definition that we go by in this project is coerced labor. Human trafficking issues are issues that are persistent issues throughout society. So they go up, they go down, but it's still there.
We're working on a project called a Laboratory on Human Trafficking, Its Origins and Remedies. And as the historian in the lab, I focus mostly on the origins.
I look at more contemporary issues. My portion of the project is looking at a few areas that are deemed trafficking zones in sub-Saharan Africa to actually go and conduct interviews and a little bit of ethnographic observation to ask that fundamental question, which is, are individuals who are living in trafficking zones that actually have a large engagement with both international and national efforts to stem trafficking, do they have better outcomes in terms of their own ability to provide for self and to experience upward mobility?
So my particular focus is on looking for the patterns that help us to understand human trafficking in the present, because they have persisted over time and across continents.
And that's where Chantal generally is taking over and talking about how this system gets further instantiated within the world system, particularly within the courts.
So what Chantal brings is a really precise and deep understanding of international law on anti-trafficking as it exists today. Chantal in particular, I think, keeps reminding us, and it needs to be emphasized, rhetoric and anti-trafficking initiatives often cause harm to the very people that you might think you're trying to help. Anti-trafficking is often used to strengthen border controls, to strengthen carceral solutions to economic problems, and to end up basically, in one way or another, locking up and unfreeing people who are trying to move around to find their freedom or to find economic opportunities. Part of what excites me about this project is just the opportunity to work with people. Every time I sit down, even for 20 or 30 minutes, and talk with Tristan and Chantal, I feel like I've gotten so much smarter. And I understand this thing that we're studying so much better than I could have understood it on my own.
Without the Migrations Initiative, I don't think that the collaboration would have been possible.